Yeah, it still looks good. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know what a shark looks like. I never like literally have seen a living great white shark,
Oh yeah,
up
right.
close kind of thing, but I still think it looked pretty legitimate. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe a real shark, maybe it might have moved a little bit quicker,
Yeah, I mean,
stuff like that, maybe.
yeah, maybe body parts would move a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
overall, though, yeah, even the parts where like when he's shooting the spear gun at it and hitting
Mhm.
it, I was like, that looks kind of shark from
Yeah,
like just the body. That
it
looks
looks
like a shark,
sharky.
and there's blood coming out when you hit it. So I was like, yeah, that looks
Somehow,
pretty good to me.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
even that part where like he when what's his name is throwing the chum in there.
Mm,
And then the shark head just comes out. He's like,
right.
I was kind of like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just all low key. He just
Yeah.
like dips up, like no big deal. Like, what are you doing up here?
Yeah, I kind of, it was actually, I mean, I know it was meant to be a little bit like, oh crap, but I was kind of like funny, like when he steps back, he's like staring at it, and he's like, we need a bigger boat.
Right.
So that's actually like, it's funny, but it also is like, dang, that was pretty intense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a classic line, classic
Right.
scene.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
Like I even knew that line, like just from new movies, you know. So yeah, like that was cool, man. And even that part when they first go out and it's dark and they're out there at night,
Yeah.
and Hooper goes down and under to look at the boat. And
yeah, yeah.
The body just rolls out. Like that was,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that actually made me jump a little bit. I was like, oh, that's actually
Yeah.
kind of
Pretty gross. Yeah.
It was
and
scary. Yeah.
It scared him. He dropped everything.
Jumped
He
off
dropped
the
all
ship.
his evidence.
Yeah, all his evidence. Yeah. So, but yeah, no. So I think it really, it holds up really well.
It does. It does.
The other thing that I really, just for me, like personally and my interests, like this to me, like the Spielberg era of 70s, 80s movies, I think that is like, that's when people talk about the magic of film or the magic of movies. To me, that's my era of like magic of movies, like the Spielberg era.
Yeah.
And when we talk about classic movies, in my opinion, or just the magic of filmmaking or that kind of thing, this is what I mean, I think, or what I feel. So like Jaws is an example of that. Like I think it holds up really well, but it's so innovative and it's so well done, and it's still like a good movie to this day. I think it's such a golden era of film. I know there's classic movies that predate that. And
Sure.
There's a different era
Yeah.
of the actual golden age of Hollywood, but I think this era of Spielberg's era, I think
Yeah.
is...
No, yeah, the 80s, the
Yeah.
80s and that Spielberg era, that is a good time for, like you said, like movie magic. I mean,
Yeah.
and he was at the forefront for it.
Yeah.
You know, like E.T., Indiana Jones,
Right,
all that
yeah.
stuff. It was him just
putting out good movies.
hit after hit after hit.
Right,
knocking
yeah,
them out
and
of
then,
the park.
producing Back to the Future, one of my favorite movies of all time. Being a part of, Jurassic Park. That was another one that was big.
Yeah.
Or producing, I don't know if he produced. Did he produce the Goonies also? But like producing like
Yeah, he's part of the Goonies.
the Goonies, and then like Star Wars, having a big hand in Star Wars also. Like just being in that world of all the biggest things to come out of the 70s, 80s is it's
Especially the 80s. Yeah,
attributed to him. You know, so I think I don't know. I don't know if movies would be the same if it wasn't for someone like Spielberg, and the other
agree.
guys in the time too. But
Right.
I just the Spielberg era is just a magical time for movies.
Yeah, you can't deny his impact
Yeah.
at all. Like the influence he's had has been nuts. So.
Yeah.
And I remember like seeing stories about him, like, making movies as like a kid kind of thing, like directing and doing all this kind of stuff. Just he's always had a passion for it. So when he made it to the big leagues, he was great.
Yeah, hit the ground running.
And the cool thing is, like, every movie he made wasn't necessarily a hit. You know, like, I mean, I like Hook, but some people
Hook too.
say it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's because it was Steven Spielberg. Like they say it's not like a great movie or whatever. I don't know. Like I know when we go to conventions and we see people dressed up like Rufio, or you see someone dressed up like Rufio.
Yeah,
everyone is screaming Rufio.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So
yeah.
But he did make a movie called 1942.
Oh yeah, okay.
I want to say it was like in the late 70s, 78, 79, and it was a flop.
Right.
I mean, and I happened to watch it, and it was terrible. But you could still kind of tell there was like some Spielberg, his fingerprints were on it.
Spielbergisms.
Spielbergisms. Yes, that was in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that just to me that makes it kind of cool that not everything he does basically turns into gold. Sometimes he makes things that aren't necessarily big hits, but even taking all that into consideration, you can't deny he is going to go down as one of the greatest, that has ever done it.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah, and it's like it's yeah, every single all of his movies they have that kind of Spielberg charm, like when it comes to like big action sequences and stunt sequences and
music.
Yeah, music, all that stuff. It just all it's a perfectly put together recipe, you know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
It all
yeah.
comes together. I think I don't know. Like you can sense that when you watch Indiana Jones, like it's just like when Indy does the whip and swings like in the warehouse. I was like that like this is so good. It's just so good. You know
That's
what I mean?
him doing his thing.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's great. And Jaws has all of that in there.
Yeah,
has
yeah.
all that charm. Even like the comedy. I thought the movie was super funny, man. I was laughing a lot. Like, I don't know if like some of the parts were meant to be funny, but it was like I was laughing a lot. Like a lot of the dialogue was the Hooper dialogue. Quint, man, that salty seaman dude, he just cracked me up with the shit that he was saying. It was I don't know. I'm not sure if it was meant to be as funny as it was, but there were a lot of lines that just made me laugh. Like, I really laughed hard in the movie for some scenes.
Yeah.
Too.
And I heard he was like drunk for a good part of the show. Robert Shaw. He was
actually drunk.
Yeah, actually drunk. Like it became a little bit difficult to get scenes done because he was showing up drunk.
Wow.
I mean, maybe he's just one of those, you know, he's in character
he's
kind
a
of
method
thing.
actor,
He's a method actor. Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever the case, the end result is you know, some very cool, iconic characters were created. You know what I mean? He reminded me, like, I kept thinking of Popeye when I saw him. This is, this kind of voice. You know, that and Mickey from Rocky. He's a mix of him and Burgess Meredith. But,
another movie I haven't seen. Rocky's in there. All the way through, I guess I would say.
Okay, all right. I guess I can't be mad. You haven't seen Jaws. You haven't seen Rocky.
Yeah, even E.T. I may have seen it as a kid, like as a child, but I don't remember enough about it to say that I actually could definitely see it. So yeah,
this list of how have you not seen is just getting
it's
getting longer and worse.
Yeah. I'm almost embarrassed to like say like how much I love film and I'm really into movies and I want to make movies someday, but I haven't seen like a massive list of classics.
You're like, I love music. Have you heard of the Beatles? Who?
Exactly. That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Who's he?
Who's he? The Bug? Yeah. So that's kind of equivalent,
Yeah. Let's see some other positives. I did like the characters. Robert Shaw's character, that salty, gravelly dude. There was some great drama in it too. Man, I loved the scene where the little boy's mother shows up. When they do catch the shark and she's there and she's just doing like this classic old fashioned like look of she's dressed in black. She's got a veil over her face and. I don't know. Maybe people were doing that back then.
Yeah, so a little over the
top. But I'll leave it alone. But she shows up and she confronts the sheriff and like you knew someone had died out here and she slaps him. I would have loved to have seen more of that. Not necessarily like see her later kind of thing, but just in that moment, that scene to get some more of it. And again, that's not a complaint at all. I love the fact that because it kind of came out of nowhere, like you weren't really expecting it or thinking it. You thought, oh, that's just another victim. Let's go on with the story.
Yeah.
But here's the consequence of it. It's crazy because he has two kids. He, you know what I mean? He has a child, around that same age. So it's gotta hit home, and you see him like reflecting on it later, where it's just he is torn up about it. And you just it's all the classic elements, right? You have the guy that knows what's going on, burden of knowledge, and the and the mayor that's like, we got to make money.
Yeah,
it's your classic. It's like a lot of those classic tropes that I feel like you see a lot more after that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They all kind of leaned into that a lot more. I feel like,
but like very clear character types,
exactly.
Well designed, which was I think maybe more product of the time, but very clear. But even though the sheriff though he was he wasn't perfect, also wasn't perfect, and he had where he came from. Obviously, he had some kind of past, also,
right,
New York stuff and being, and I
love to go to a nice small town and not have to do with anything. I love that concept. I love the concept that he was just I'm here basically in retirement mode. Like I'm here because I don't expect anything to go on. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
Yeah. There's only him and another officer. That's the whole team.
That's the whole force out there.
And nothing ever happens out there. It seems like. But and I do like that they kind of introduce, and this is like it's great for character development. They introduce kind of things like, oh, he's a sheriff, lives on an island, but he hates the water. You know, he hates the water. Doesn't want to be on the ocean or
weird, right?
Yeah. And there's that great line where he's like, I don't know why you come and live on an island if you hate the water so much. He's like, well, you can only tell it's an island from the water.
If you see the water or something dumb like that.
Yeah, and then,
Richard Dreyfuss' character is like, well, I can't remember. He didn't say that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. He said that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like he called him out on it immediately. Immediately. Like that makes no sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
But in his mind, it works for him. So
yeah, exactly. But no, yeah, it was the characters were all great, man. Yeah, even Hooper, man, he was. He's a little eccentric sometimes too, you know.
Right? Yeah.
A little eccentric, hot-headed as well in his own ways, but
right. Yeah, he was his own. You know, he was his own man, his own dude, and he knew what he knew and believed what he believed, and he stuck by it. I wonder if he was supposed to be younger. I mean, I know they kept referring to him as a young man, or they kind of called him a kid a little bit. I mean, when you see him, he doesn't look like that. He's got like a full, beard and mustache, and he looked like he was graying. But I get the impression he's supposed to be like some, like a kid. Yeah, definitely a rich kid, kind of fresh out of college, maybe. Yeah. A few years in the field, or of his chosen profession, right? Marine biologist kind of thing. So but I got he's supposed to be like a younger character, but either way is great casting. I'm glad they went with him
all around. Yeah, definitely, yeah, fantastic casting. That was the big one. Yeah.
Okay, so any negatives?
I don't have any major negatives for this movie. There's nothing I can really say about for the time of the movie. Like, I feel like you can't really fault things for the time of, and even if it still looks pretty good, man. I don't know. I can't. I feel like there was not a time where I was just like, oh, it doesn't look great. Like I don't think there was one time where I was just like, it's a little cheesy. Like,
where something made you check out.
Yeah, I still felt even all the shark, because I know I've heard people talk about the shark, be like, oh, you watch it now, the shark looks fake. It doesn't look scary. And I was like, I don't know, look pretty good to me.
I disagree.
Look pretty damn good to me, man. Yeah, yeah. So I mean,
got the point home. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought there's nothing about that, but there were just like 1.5 things, if I can say.
Yeah, please.
The first thing that I kind of started noticing was I know the movie. I feel like the movie was supposed to be more of a thriller kind of type of movie. I don't know if I'd go as far as a horror movie, but more like thriller.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then all the music would match that, but then sometimes the music would become like super adventurous and whimsical, like the Goonies.
Right. Yeah. Like Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. When they're on the boat, and like when it would go from like dun 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 dun, and then like super whimsical adventure music, like right away, like from that to that.
And that old music really tells you what to feel and how to feel in a scene. So it's super important. Yeah.
So for me personally, I feel like that it shifted the tone a little bit of it. Like, am I supposed to still be scared, or am I supposed to be excited on this adventure, kind of thing? And I think that like even Ariana was like, it's like, why are they making this sound like the Goonies all of a sudden? Like she said that, and she's not a movie person at all. But that's what she said when she heard that, when the changes when they're on the boat hunting them. Okay. So and I felt the same way. I was like, oh, this is getting a little whimsical to me. I'm feeling a little whimsical when this is. I feel like it's supposed to be more of a thriller type thing. Right. So sometimes the music I feel like clashed a little with what was going on screen.
Yeah, I feel you.
I know they're trying to probably make you feel that way, and I get that exactly. I agree with what you're saying 100%. But just for me as a viewer, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to feel
right. That's not the way to feel at this point in time.
Like
you should lean into the scary,
intense kind of.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm cool with that.
There's that. That was the one thing that I was kind of not worried about. The second thing is, and like this, I don't even want to really say this because I don't truly believe it. But movies from the older days, I think they didn't know how to trim fat for movies. Like I feel like they're like, this is like a 2 hour, and I think it's over 2 hours long.
A little bit over 2 hours.
Yeah, over 2 hours long.
It's like I want to say it's 126 or something like that. I think.
And I mean, there's probably a couple of scenes that you can trim. I think like the night when they're on the boat at night, and he tells that great story. Yeah. But that whole scene is really long. Like it starts jovial, then he tells the sad story, then they start singing, and all. Like, it was kind of like a long. Like I was like, well, you could probably trim some of this a little bit, cut some scenes here, cut a few minutes off here. And then like the amount of times, and again, I understand that they were trying to keep the threat a little like underwater for most of the movie. You don't want to see it, but there's probably 6 or 7 times it's like they deal with this like threat that you can't see. It's like because it's like the beginning, the girl, the girl gets she gets eaten.
Yeah, she looked great by the way too.
Yeah. No,
even though we're seeing silhouettes of her, it's like that's pretty good silhouette.
The one who was calling for the shark, who was yelling about the shark in the pond. That girl, I don't know.
Oh yeah, the one that was like a painter kind of thing.
Or something.
She was off
Like
to the side.
yeah, exactly.
And she started yelling shark. Yeah,
that girl. Who's that?
Long curly hair. Who is she? Let's get more of her.
Yeah, who is she, man? She's not gonna just name a nameless character. Yeah, make a movie about her. Like, what was her experience like? This whole thing. Yeah. But then it was that. Then it was like the kid. Then it was the guys on the pier. Then it was them out on the ocean at night. Then it was I guess the fake shark doesn't really count. It's not the fake shark, but the other shark.
That they killed. Yeah.
But there's a lot of like I'm trying to not really say that I have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like there's a lot. Like, you cut down 2 of those attacks, and you cut the rundown time a little bit. It's like there's a lot of like I feel like there's like in those days you didn't cut anything out. Like everything was like everything we shoot is everything we're putting in the movie, kind of sort of a thing, And I think there's room to trim things in some of these movies. I don't know, because even like on the boat, like they're hunting this shark on the boat for an hour, like an hour of screen time. Like it's like an hour and 6 to like 2 hours and 10 minutes.
The movie, yeah.
They're out hunting the shark.
Yeah.
And that's a long time for like the action to go on. Usually it's like the last half hour or 40 minutes.
It's like your third part of the
like it's like half of the movie you guys are on the boat hunting the shark. And I think you can just trim some things a little bit here and there. Like some of the dialogue things are real long, some of that kind of stuff. And I'm not about attacking a creator's vision or taking something out because of a studio wants it to be shorter. I'm not about that at all. Like I think a creator should get their vision out there.
Right.
But as an audience member, I would be like, oh, well, maybe we didn't need this scene, or this scene could be shorter. And I think that's just a product of the movies at the time, just real long. And some of the times the pacing would just be like, okay, well, this scene's 3 minutes longer than it needs to be, I think. Sometimes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
I was kind of, because I had to watch it again this morning because I fell asleep in some scenes, like in some parts of the movie last night. So
right on.
I'd wake up again and then fall asleep again. So I was like, all right, well, I got to watch it again this morning. So,
yeah.
So I had to watch it again one more time just because it was so late last night. But
yeah,
so I think just some of the pacing things and the length of some scenes were a little bit off to me.
Okay. No, I can give you that, but I say this respectfully.
Here we go.
Here we go. They say we're not going to do it. This is what happens. So let's just do a nice show.
Get out of here before it gets too hot.
Right.
Yeah.
And you jinxed it. All right, jinxed it. Somebody jinxed it. But like I might agree with with that, like maybe like 5% kind of thing. And again, this isn't like in a argumentative way, but you're an ignorant slut. No, but this Saturday Night Live. If you don't know, you'll do the math. You'll see it. You'll figure it out. I was okay. I agree. Like sometimes you can trim the fat on some things. That's 100% accurate. But I liked seeing them on the boat, even though it was a little long. I can 100%. I can say I can agree with that. I was still okay with it. I liked seeing them have that conversation about how they're joking around about their like battle scars, and then it got serious kind of thing. And then old sailor, can't think of his name, like Robert Shaw. Quint, yes. He kind of he kind of covers it up, like he masks his pain with humor or low level, jabs at people kind of thing. That's how he copes and deals with his trauma. I liked seeing that. I enjoyed seeing that. I enjoyed seeing these 3 characters kind of come together. 2 of them already had a great relationship, and then there's this third guy that's just who is an island unto himself on this island. And I liked seeing the 3 of them kind of the trial of the situation kind of it merged them, it forged them into this like this teamwork or this friendship. You know what I mean? Like you get that sense of camaraderie, you know, with the military, with the police force, whatever organization you might be a part of, is having to deal with some sort of situation that you bond over that, and you can be completely different characters, completely different people. And these three people were very different. You know, especially, you know, Quint, he was the most different of them all. But the trial of the situation kind of forged them into this weird friendship that they would have, if you haven't seen them, I'm not gonna spoil anything for you, that friendship would last for life, you know, between all of them. Yeah. And it wouldn't be anything where they necessarily, you know, they're into the same things, they care about the same things. It's the fact that they went through this trauma together. It's like it's kind of like the Fellowship of the Ring or Return of the King, right? When you see at the end of the movie, when you see all the hobbits together, they're back in Hobbiton, and they're at the table. They've all got their beer, and these guys are friends, so it's a little bit different. And there's this great moment where all four of them just sit down and they just sit there because there's nothing to say. There's no words that can have any sort of impact on what they're all feeling right now. So the best thing to do is just sit there in silence and all be on the same page. And that's kind of where these three guys were at. So I liked seeing them forge that kind of, you know, lack of a better word, friendship, you know? So I hear where you're coming from. I kind of, especially with this movie, I don't know if I 100% agree with it. Like I said, like 5%, I can, okay, there are some parts that might be, you know, maybe a little bit, but I don't know how much I would really change with this movie. I liked, so to speak, all the scenes that we show them getting, you know, people getting killed, how they're focused on, you know, and the town was focused on not just that, you know, shitty mayor, but the whole town was focused on, at least the leadership was like, oh, we need this money to survive. You know, this is how we make our money kind of thing. I liked seeing that back and forth. And like at some point it should have been like, just stop already. But it needs, you know, 3 or 4 different people and a very good dog died before it all happened. So I hear where you're coming from, but I don't know if I'm going to 100% co-sign on it. So
yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I agree with everything you're saying other than the length. Like, I don't think if it doesn't.
See, I don't have much of a problem with the length, though. Like, I mean, I know I've said before, like, to me, there's no such thing as a long, good movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know you're not saying this movie is bad.
No. I'm just saying, I just think I don't think it needs to be as long as it is for what it is they're trying to do.
That take anything away?
I think they can do exactly what you said in 45 minutes versus an hour and 6 minutes for that last scene. I don't know that every single scene and every single line of dialogue and every single event needs to be in there as it was. I think you can still get the point across with it being 15 minutes shorter.
Yeah,
I think you can still do that. Personally, and
right.
I don't know, and I think.
But what does it take away though? I mean, I'm asking. I'm not trying to like bait you. Like,
I mean, like I may not have fallen asleep if it was, you know, if it wasn't droning on so long. You know what I mean? Like if I lose my interest in it.
What time of day did you watch it?
It was like 7 o'clock last night.
Okay.
Like, is it my fault that I got bored, or is it the movie's fault that I got bored? You know what I mean? Like if I don't need to hear Quint sing the pirate shanty song 4 times. He can sing it 2 times, or sing it 1 time. Like, you know, I don't have to hear you sing 10 verses of it for 6 minutes straight. Yeah, you can sing it 1 time for 3 minutes, and we get the point. We'll get the point. You know what I mean? I don't think lengthening it makes it more impactful. Yeah, that's my thing. Like, you can get the same point across with a little less time.
And see, I don't know if it's so much that they're trying to lengthen it. I feel like, you know, what you're saying earlier about, you know, the artist wanted to get the story out, get the point across, so to speak, or say whatever they wanted to say, do whatever they wanted to do, and that's just what they did. Yeah, I mean, I hear where you're coming from.
I mean, even like with the attacks, like, I feel like a shark destroying a pier is more of a reason to go out and take care of the shark versus a guy in a tugboat or a guy in a rowboat getting to eat. Because like the last straw is the guy in the rowboat, right? And that's the last straw is the guy in the rowboat. When like a lot of other crazy shit has happened, like boats have been sunk by this thing.
Yeah.
But it's the rowboat that makes is the straw.
Right. And the eyewitnesses. It was the rowboat and the eyewitnesses.
All right, I guess that's fair too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But I don't know. I don't know. Like, do all 6 of those shark attacks? Do you feel like they're all essential to like? Would you be more or less scared if they cut out the shark attack on the pier, like those guys on the pier?
Mm-hmm.
Cut that scene out. Would you?
Okay.
Would you have?
That really didn't do anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
cared?
maybe that might have. It might. I don't know. Maybe that might have scared some people. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, yeah. That really didn't have much of an impact on anything.
Yeah,
except maybe just to add to the mystery, so to speak, of the shark.
Yeah.
Maybe to show how strong or how powerful it is and how dangerous it is that it could like tear apart a pier.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, great.
So
scene.
yeah, maybe they could have.
Looks great. Shot well. But like, does that make you any more or less scared of the shark versus where we are at the end of the movie? Yeah. You're still scared of the shark. He's destroying the boat that they're on. Like that's enough. That's plenty.
Yeah.
I think there's enough in there to build that fear. So I don't know if we needed that much more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
and you feel like that scene kind of took away from the movie.
Not necessarily, but it was just an extra thing that made it longer. That like I don't think we need 6 attacks. We can have 4 shark attacks.
So is and
you know what I mean?
Again, not an attack, but is the complaint is the length, not necessarily with any of the scenes. It's the length. Like you just don't want to. In theory, you don't want to like 2 hours sitting for a movie. You don't want to do kind of.
I mean, if it's 2 hours of the same thing, right? Because it's like dialogue talking about a shark attack. Dialogue talking about a shark attack. Dialogue talking about a shark attack.
Yeah.
And then all the scenes are they're long. You know, a lot of the dialogue scenes are long. You know what I mean? So I think I don't know. Like again, not saying I have an issue with the movie at all. Like, I think it's still great overall. Just it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. It could have been 2 hours on the dot.
Yeah.
Or an hour and 55 minutes. You know.
No, I hear you. I legitimately respect where you're coming from. I don't necessarily 100% agree on some levels. I get it, but I get where you're coming from. One thing that I would really be curious about, and this is like a very like obvious question, is I would love to ask Steven Spielberg what he would do different if he would do anything different with this movie.
Yeah.
Like, would he trim the fat on it? Would he add something different?
Yeah.
Or would he just leave it just the way it is, kind of thing?
Yeah.
So.
And I think like for me as a like, hopefully if I do ever get to the point where I'm making movies, I'm kind of all about each scene needing to be important. And I'm not really a guy that's like, oh, let's just do a random scene over here that get people to laugh and that's it. You know, like I don't want to pick on Marvel, but like great example is Endgame with Hulk in the diner. Get rid of that scene. That scene does nothing for anything at all. Cut it out.
Obey your parents.
People wanted to get a couple laughs or get that kind of thing. That's cool, but it does nothing for the movie. Get rid of it. So I'm kind of more about like every scene shows you the point. And it connects to the whole movie. I'm not saying that was the case with Jaws, but I don't know, like how. I mean, I think it is fair to say on some level that movies were different back then. Yeah, I would say, and probably 50 years from now, movies might be like they might be different. Yeah, 50 years from now too. You know what I mean? There might be things that we look at now. Like I can agree, and I'm not going to open a can of worms, but I can certainly think about movies that we've talked about in the past that were a little bit more products of their time. Yeah. That may not fly by, quote unquote, today's standard, whatever that is, or even standards that you and I would agree with, with movies. So. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, and I want to, and again, like Back to the Future, pacing is incredible, and every scene matters in that. That's and you never get bored in any part of it. There's no part where you can get bored. So I think I don't know. It's just more of my personal preference, and I like movies. But I mean, like, I haven't seen any of these in a long time, like Casablanca or Gone with the Wind. I think those are 3-hour movies. Like they're 3-hour movies, I think.
Yeah, I think at least Gone with the Wind is definitely. I don't think Casablanca is that long, but Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, they're long movies. Yeah.
Yeah, there's literally an intermission. If you watch that on AMC, there's literally they have the intermission. You can get up and come back and just like they did it in the theater.
Right. Yeah, and they're long movies, and back then there was not a lot of camera shots. It was just like a camera is set right here, and we're doing the whole scene from this angle.
And movies were like, I don't want to say movies aren't special, but back then movies were like more of a special thing, and they're a little more, I don't want to say more epic. That's not how I want to put it, but that movie in particular, Gone with the Wind, is a little more epic. So okay, no, that's cool. That's cool.
But I mean, and so I think maybe it's more. I'm a younger person ish, you know, and maybe my attention span as a part of my generation is an issue. But at the same time, you know, like I can appreciate a classic movie, but also I don't want to see a wide shot for 15 minutes of the same scene. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that was just I think that was a transitioning point out of the golden age of movies into like the movies of the Spielberg era. I had to call. I don't know if that's an actual thing, but the Spielberg era, like a lot of less.
Yeah, I think it changed even before that too. But
So I mean, that's just that. Yeah, but I mean, again, I'm not saying it's a negative. That's why I said this is like a half negative that I'm talking about. But yeah, just a little longer than I think it needed to be.
Okay.
So yeah.